TJ England, the redshirt senior, step out on the mat. And for Cleveland State, I believe Nick Molchak stands out there. He's a redshirt sophomore out of Solon, Ohio up there. As England, again, one of those guys struggling at lightweight. Transferred over from Clarion, thought he might have a bit of a clearer path, but it's been tough under a Bobcat singlet.
Molchak, very tall and lanky here at 133, does a nice job, goes ankle pick, switches it off to a high crotch, and then you see England with a little bit of a scramble situation here.
He's got his head through the legs.
Yeah, the length of Molchak's going to really cause some issues, especially once you start to scramble and get into these tall, gangly positions.
Molchak moved up from 125 to 133 just for the postseason last year, and he's decided to stay. Taking over just a little bit. We talked just amongst ourselves that there's a grad student there for Cleveland State, Jake Manley, that we thought we would see, but might as well give the redshirt sophomore the chance.
Yeah, and I think that could be a situation where Molchak may be thinking that 25 being his best option, forced to kind of go up due to some maybe lineup battles and doing what's best for Cleveland State. Then you kind of realize, hey, I'm pretty freaking tall for 125 pounds, let alone
133.
133. So I think he fits the weight class at 133 pretty well. I'm sure was cutting probably a pretty good bit of weight to get to 125.
As we've been scrambling for over a minute now, 120 on the clock. Molchak has finally gotten the knee outside. He's trying to collapse England. But now England's through the middle. We're going to go waterfall and see if we can find a stalemate somewhere.
Yeah, the only way I see somebody scoring from this position here now is if Molchak takes his left leg over to the side of that right leg and kind of kicks England in the armpit, which he does with the other leg, but now we're back into a single leg position now for England. England with a chance to score, and he does on the out of bounds line. Nice job from TJ England to continue to wrestle and got back in on a leg attack of his own.
That was a phenomenal job to just keep wrestling there, as you're right, kicked away, and England just never really gave up, kept the ankle pinned and brought him all the way up to the feet here to go treetop.
Yeah, Molchak kicked away there instead of kind of wrestling into England, and that's where England was able to get in on that single leg. Had Molchak kind of wrestled into him and continued that scramble situation, it may have been different, but he didn't, and so a takedown England, but we see a quick escape there for Nick Molchak, making it 3-1 now for TJ England.
England seemed to not want anything to do with Molchak on the mat there. Possible reversal with those long limbs. Southampton, PA native, leading the match 3-1 with 30 seconds to go in period number 1.
Nice little fake high crotch there for England, but Molchak with the underhook, it's going to be tough to shoot through that. It'd be interesting to see if Molchak is able to hustle and score here from this front headlock with just short time left.
As they clear out, 15 to go. We'll see who decides to take the shot from space.
I think here with just 5 seconds left, we're going to see both guys kind of just run the period out. But nonetheless, a pretty active first period, very similar to what we saw there in the first match. Some very long, intense scrambles. So that's a lot of fun wrestling for fans to watch there, Isaiah.
It has been so far. And that's what you expect out of these young guys. I say young guys, but you expect out of the little guys for sure, is them to scramble around, run all over this mat.
And definitely a clash of body types sometimes also helps, and I think that's what we have here with England, who a little bit shorter, stockier, and Molchak, who's a lot taller, very lanky, and I would assume he's probably pretty good in the top position here with some of that length. As you see, he's got a claw, tight waist right now, trying to pull England back into a tilt position, but doesn't get it. England goes Granby, doesn't get it.
Well, he separates himself out a little bit, certainly gets away from the legs. He's got a reverse hook on that front leg for Molchak, but it's going to be a lot to try to get it up and do something with it. That's why he gives it up.
Yeah, England's got to be careful. It looked like he tried to go roll there with Molchak having his leg in the middle, and if you got your leg stuck in the middle, you can't roll. You will end up on your back. And now we see Molchak trying to get a mat return of his own. on the out-of-bounds line. If he doesn't get a return here, we might see a stall call, but we go out of bounds.
As he kept trying to lift, and England just did his best to sit his butt down. Wasn't going to let him go anywhere. Minute and 3 to go in your second period. It's 3-1, Bobcat up. As TJ England would love to put a little extra on that, even though takedown would still tie it in the third.
Yeah, you can see the length of Molchak there. He's not even really looking to mat return or lift and return as much as he is kind of getting England tied up in some of those lower leg positions and pulling him back to the mat. Oh, and he goes cradle. Does he have it?
I think he finally does when they hit the mat, so he's got him rolled up, and now England's going to have to fight. And he looks in a pretty good spot, and now Molchak settles in a little bit.
The 4 near falls coming for Molchak. That's a given. Really big here in the dual meet.
As I think he's given up the cradle. He's just got an ankle and a headlock.
England's really got to fight off his back. 15 seconds left.
He's going to get back to the stomach, give up the 4. Probably finish this period on bottom with a near full period ride out for Molchak.
Yeah, a minute 55 of riding time with a 2-point lead here. That changes what you can do here in the third period if you're Molchak. Do you choose top? Maybe, but Cleveland State saying they're going to go bottom, and probably the smart decision, but, you know, with a turn there, it makes you wonder, hey, do we choose top and hope that we just exhausted this guy who was trying to fight off of all these turns and scores in the second period?
They're going to hit England with a caution there. A little too excited to try to get this one going.
That's one of those tough calls as a coach sometimes. You know, it is enticing to go back on top, especially because it is very exhausting for a guy on the bottom. You know, you fight off all these turns and things for 2 minutes straight, and then you go right back into the top position. It's like, hey, now these turns are going to come a little bit easier, but elects to go underneath, and now you see England kind of replicating some of those same positions we saw Molchak in there in the second.
As Molchak has caught and pinned the leg that he was trying to get in, did England. So now he's working over it. But this is really just kind of wasting time, as I'm sure Coach Greenlee is sitting there telling England, you ride until you get under a minute at the least, so you can win it with a takedown.
Yeah, England's got to be careful here. He's not in as good a position of scoring right now as Molchak was there in the second. Molchak definitely looking for a reversal, and in some of these positions we're at right now, it looks like it could be a reversal with near fall coming as well. So England does a good job of getting his hips back up on top. He needs to shove that right leg through the center on this boot. He needs to work to get Molchak flat and then try to start to get to a turn.
A minute to go, under a minute of riding time here. And Coach Greenlee telling his redshirt senior to keep on staying on top. So I think this is the moment you got to work.
This is interesting here. As England starts to try to
get away, Molchak keeps him.
Yeah. You could tell he was wanting a reversal, and that was like a telltale sign there. He kept the leg and tried to stay in that bottom position as long as possible and try to jump over the hips of England. Now you see England's got double underhooks. Molchak steps in, tries to whizzer kick him down.
20 seconds to go. Whizzer position. England's got the leg on the bottom. If he can shelf it and work, he can't, so they restart.
England in good position there. He had an underhook. He steps out of it. He's got to get a takedown, and the takedown would force overtime. Just 5 seconds left now. The Bobcats got to take an attack.
And it looks like they're not going to find a leg. 6-3, the Vikings pick up the win, and that makes it 6-0. Certainly a smaller lead than it could have been there for the Vikings. So the Bobcats have done their job at 125 and 133. We'll be back with 141 and the rest. It's Mac Wrestling on ESPN+.